How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to episode 3 of the Nelly's Fishing Podcast. I appreciate everybody listening on Spotify. We are now uploading all our episodes on YouTube and Spotify for everybody that is driving to work and you want to listen to in your car. You can listen to it there. Today we have a really special show. As you guys are aware, in the past couple shows, I've been targeting more towards people that want to get started into kayak fishing or people that want to get started into the kayak fishing tournaments. So today we have a really special guest in the show, someone that's a huge personality in the kayak fishing industry here in Ontario especially. And then we have John Dean. So we're going to pull John into the room. Hey John, how's it going?
Hey Nelson, how are you?
Pretty good. Thanks a lot for joining me into the show today.
No, not a problem. Thanks for the invite. Really appreciate it.
So, John, just to get this started, I'm going to pretty much ask you those basic questions that you probably hear a million times and every time somebody meets you. But start us off with who you are and what you do with kayak fishing here in Canada.
My name is John Dean. Currently, I guess I wear 3 hats. One, I'm a kayak angler. 2, I'm the tournament director for the Ontario Kayak Bass Trail, the OKBT. And I'm also the president and tournament director for the Ontario Kayak Bass Masters, which is an affiliated club within the Ontario Bass Nation.
Very busy schedule.
It is.
Always working, eh? So, with the OKBT, right? I think we can all say it's the most successful tournament series in Ontario, if not the country for that matter. What got you, or what inspired you to start a tournament series like the OKBT?
It boils down to basically the need. There was nothing in Ontario at the time as far as a tournament series for kayaks and for bass. There was a couple of smaller multi-species events that would go on a couple times a year, but that was it. So when I got into kayak fishing, the only outlet for me and resource was to travel to the U.S. So I spent a lot of time traveling to New York, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Ohio, and fishing bass events there out of the kayak. I met a few other guys that were in the same boat from Ontario and thought, why not start one in Ontario? We know what we like. We know what we don't like. We know what works and what doesn't work at all these other tournaments. And the OKBT was born.
Yeah, that's crazy how you guys did all that travel into the USA. Like, just myself, I think every summer I put at least 20,000 kilometers in my car. I can only imagine how many kilometers you guys put in your cars traveling to the USA for all these events.
Yeah, it was getting pretty hectic. And then, like I said, that was the driving force. Why should we have to drive down there when we're in Ontario, which has probably some of the best fishing waters in the world? And it's a resource that we can use. So let's use it.
Yeah, like it's crazy here. We have so many lakes. There's been times where, I'm looking on Google Maps, trying to decide where to go fishing, and then you're looking at, in one small area, I'm not saying a small area, but like Muskoka alone, where do you start? You could spend hours on Google Maps just looking for a lake and looking for a boat launch, and then at the end of the day, you're like, okay, so where am I gonna go?
Yeah. Try the dart method.
Just shoot a dart and then go fishing where it lands. That's pretty cool. So that's pretty interesting that how you started OKBT. Actually, we're going to backtrack a little bit. It was back in 2018, I believe, when you did your first event of Balsam Lake.
Correct.
And the one interesting thing that maybe a lot of people don't know about me, actually, that 2018 was my rookie kayak year. When you hosted that event in 2018, I was only 2 months into kayak fishing, like super green. And I signed up for this event not knowing what I was going to get myself into. And it was a huge, it was eye-opening for me. One, because as a new kayak angler, I was so used to just fishing, local ponds that were I don't know, like 10 acres big, not that big, right? And and then I show up to Balsam Lake, and I remember saying to myself, "What am I doing?" So, with all the experience you have, what advice would you have to somebody that's getting started into kayak fishing?
Okay, well, let me ask you this first. You came out to your first event, you were totally green, new to the sport. Did you have fun?
Oh yeah, I enjoyed myself.
That answers your question right there. The best advice I can give somebody starting out is to go out and expect nothing more than to have an enjoyable, fun day. Don't put too many expectations on yourself, and go out and do your best and have an enjoyable day.
Yeah, I think that's huge. Having fun is big. I think a lot of us can get caught up sometimes in being a little too competitive, and sometimes we can be a little too hard on ourselves. So yeah, definitely having fun. I think is huge. What about So you did mention have fun and don't go out there with big expectations. Is there any other advice you would give somebody that's going out there and doing their first tournament?
Yeah, there's a lot of things that can go wrong on a tournament day for anybody, but I think when it's your first one, it's important to keep things simple. Again, set your expectations at a reasonable level. Whether it be I want to catch 5 fish or I want to catch 3 fish. Keep things in check, keep things simple, fish your strengths. Try not to do too much and try not to get too put down with any pressure. That's the worst thing I think that can happen to you. Just go out, enjoy the day, and do your best and keep it simple.
Yeah, I think that's a big tip too. Like you're saying, keep it simple, fish within your comfort zone sometimes, right?
Correct.
I think going into a tournament thinking that you're gonna try a technique that you never fished before is definitely a mistake that I've done in the past. I've never thrown a Tokyo rig. Why am I gonna throw it on tournament day, for example? Yeah. So that's pretty good. What about do you got any blooper stories? Any mistakes that you see people do, or maybe it's something that you've done on the water that has made you think, what was I thinking?
I don't see a lot of people out on the water, so I can't really say what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
I think probably one of the biggest mistakes people do is listening to Doc talk. Listening to the chatter from other anglers, whether it be the night before or the morning of at the ramp, and they're going in with a plan in their head on what they want to do, and then all of a sudden they hear all this chatter and things get changed around, and it sets them on a downward spiral for the rest of the day.
Yeah, that's definitely, yeah, because it plays mind tricks on you, right? All of a sudden you had your mindset that you were going to get on the water and do this in certain spot, and then you hear people talking, oh, every time I come here, I always catch them throwing a Texas rig craw in the wood, whatever, and that changes your game plan for some reason, right?
Yeah, go out and fish your way, and leave all the chatter on the shore.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. What about any how can I call it? Do you have any moments that you look back and just laugh about something that you did or happened to you on the water?
Yeah, there's a few things. Not making sure photos have all the criteria in them before you let the fish go and you submit them. Having your identifier partially cut off so the photos now DQ fish. Stuff like that. It can cost you some money. Something we've all had with the Ontario smallmouth jumping off the board before you get a good picture.
Never fails.
Yeah, sticking yourself with a hook and having to get first aid on the water by your buddy, and so.
Yeah, I actually just shared a video on my Instagram. Of one time I got a treble hook right in the finger. That hurts, man. If nobody's ever gone through that, that's like it's pretty painful to do.
I've had it twice, and that's enough. But I'm sure it will be the last one.
No, yeah, I know. Actually, you know, one tip I like to give people when they ask me when you're fishing a tournament, something to keep in mind is always keep a cool collective mind. You know, one mistake that I found myself doing in the past is I got too much on the go. You know, for some reason, in that moment, I'm rushing. You know, I'm fishing with one rod, and instead of turning around and putting it back in the rod holder, I keep it. I lay it beside me on the deck of the kayak, and then all of a sudden, I have 3, 4 fishing rods sitting beside me. I catch a fish, and I have a huge mess in just on the deck of the kayak.
Yeah.
So a tip that I probably left out in the previous podcast, and I'm going to mention today, is always stay organized. You know, we have 9 hours on the water. We have enough time to keep everything organized and avoid accidents like getting a treble hook in the leg or a treble hook in the hand, right?
Yeah. And that goes back to what I was saying too about the newcomers. And an easy way to keep cool and keep things simple is keep your equipment simple.
Yeah.
Don't be bringing out 10 rods your first time out if you're unsure. Bring 2 or 3. Keep things manageable so you're not always worried about where your gear is, what your gear is doing, and what you should be doing. Just limit your choices and keep it easy to manage.
Yeah, definitely. So with the OKBT schedule, it's been announced already. Is there an event? I know, like for you, it's all about work. It's a lot of work that you do, and if people that don't know you probably haven't realized how much work there is behind this. But is there an event that's coming up that you're probably looking forward to the most?
I don't know about the most, but I'm definitely looking forward to Lake Nipissing. I've never been up there. It's the first event of the year, May 20th. It's early season for us in the southern part of the province. And other than just being excited to get back on the water after a long winter, it will be good to see what that fishery is like.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
That's gonna be a lot of fun. I really hope I can make that one. It's actually the day on my birthday, so if I can make it, that's gonna be pretty cool. And
that's all right.
You know, one thing I'm actually really excited about is that you introduced this year the classic, the OKBT Classic.
Yes, that's a new event this year, and it's an event I've kind of been thinking about and passing by the other guys for a couple of years. Unfortunately, wasn't great timing with COVID and everything else that was going on, but we're going to bring it in this year, and so far the feedback on it is really good. It's going to be an event where you have to qualify for it. It will be the top 20 qualifiers in the Angler of the Year standings, and it will be at the end of September. Nobody will know the lake until a couple of days before the event. No pre-fishing allowed, and we go from there. One day, see who wins.
I really like that because I feel like winning Angler of the Year is the most valuable trophy of the whole series. And then you add the Classic, it just brings it to the next level of competition. It's almost like, okay, you made it to the top 20. You are fishing with the top guys of the series. It's a cool feeling, I feel, at least.
Yeah, it's just that's an extra level.
Yeah, that's gonna be amazing. But I really appreciate you coming on. Is there any people you want to give a shout out? Any sponsors, friends, or anything like that?
Just give a shout out to all the anglers that have supported us over the last 5 seasons. We've had growing numbers each year and expect to see the same this year. All of our sponsors, you see them all on our webpage, and without them, we wouldn't be able to put this product forward as well as we do. So,
Yeah, actually, I have an image here that you shared with me. Is it okay if I share it? The banner.
yeah. Go right ahead.
So here's the pretty much the banner for the OKBT. On here you see all the sponsors, which is actually a couple new ones on here. You wanna talk about those new sponsors there?
We have a couple new sponsors that came on late last year, and a couple new ones this year. Late last year, we got Yellow Tech on board for all you YouTubers out there that have battery packs and mass device to hold your GoPros. Fantastic products. We also brought on Radio World. Anybody who's in the know about kayak, and electronics, anything in the marine world, Radio World go to place. Carry top brands such as Garmin, Powerpole, Dakota Lithium. This year we are bringing on Under Armour. We were lucky enough to grab Under Armour as a sponsor this year, and really looking forward to working with them, and hopefully all the anglers will enjoy what they bring forward too.
That's pretty cool. That's some high-end sponsors. That's awesome. Let me share that banner again with everybody
Yeah.
that hasn't seen it yet. And on the banner, you could see all the dates for all the events that are coming up. So just going to go through them quickly here. May 20th, Lake Nipissing. June 17th, Balsam Lake. July 15th, Lake Simcoe. August 12th, Georgian Bay. And this is up in the Perry Sound area, right, John?
Yes, it is.
And then we have the Tri-Lakes, which is a 2-day event on September 9 and 10.
And September 23rd is Classic.
September 23rd is a Classic, which again, coming back to that, I think it's the fact that you're announcing the lake that I'm going to say that we're going to fish in, because, just being optimistic, is you're announcing it, 2 days before the event?
Yes.
Yeah, that's just adds, like you said, no pre-fishing, so everybody's going in there and figuring it out on the day of the tournament. So that's going to be
we're kind of going old school rules too, because it's going to be a single launch with a shotgun start.
Oh, no way! That's cool. That's awesome. That's great. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. So yeah, John, if there's anything else you want to add, any tips or advice for people, or any comments?
I just hope we get to see a lot of new faces this year. I've been talking to a lot of people online over the winter that are getting into the sport, and looking forward to showing up at the event. So that'll be good to see new faces, and it's always good to see the old faces back out there. So, we're less than 4 months away for the first event, and that time's going to go fast. So,
actually, you know what? You know something I thought about right now? For all the people that are new that joining OKBT, a little tip that something I've observed. Try to join the captain's meetings. If you never fished a tournament, try to make an effort to view the live feed, because you go live on Facebook, right?
Correct.
So try to make an effort to join the captain's meetings, and if you have any last minute questions, the tournaments are on Saturdays. The captain's meetings are held, if I remember correctly, Thursday evenings, right?
Yes, they are.
So if you're new to these tournaments and you have any questions, any doubts, join the captain's meetings. And another tip I'm going to give people, speaking from experience, when I started these tournaments, at first I was a little intimidated. I didn't know how the crowd was going to be. I didn't know if it was going to be a welcoming crowd. But I can say from, like I said, personal experience, the kayak fishing community is very friendly, very helpful. So if anybody has any questions, don't be afraid to approach anybody. I'm pretty sure you can agree with this too, John. Everybody's willing to help and share.
Yes, for sure. On both points, and attending the captain's meetings is a very good point. And especially if you're new, It's where you're going to get event-specific information and your chance to ask questions.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Well, John, I want to thank you again to joining me in the podcast. Like I've said before, I like to keep the episodes short, so people can have like a quick information. Some people don't drive that long for work, and and not honestly not to bore people. So I think we gave up some great information. I want to thank you for joining me, and I want to give a quick shout out to sponsorships myself, which is Exo Noors, YOLO Tech, and now newly joined Weapons of Bass Instruction.
That's great, but let me just one more thing in there, Nelson, before we sign off for the night. Coming up is the Spring Fishing Show on February 17th, 18th, and 19th. If you guys are looking for any kayaks or whatever the case may be, Folk Marine's going to be down there with a full complement of Hobie, Old Town, and Jackson kayaks. And then also on April 2nd, the Can Show up in Peterborough. That's going to be another fantastic show this year, and I suggest if you're in the market for anything fishing related, get up there and check it out.
Yeah, CanCast is going to be great. Can't wait for that one. But yeah, I think that's it for today, John. Thank you very much again.
Thank you, Nelson.
And we'll keep in touch. Have a good one.
We definitely will.
Take care, guys. Thanks
Good
for watching.
night.